What's up, guys? Welcome back to No Rewind.
Welcome back. It's good to have you here. Today we've got... We're going to laugh a lot today, and that's because we've got Brad Knisley here, and Brad is one of my best friends, and when we're together, it's always a little silly, and we laugh, and it's fun. So, Brad, welcome on, man.
What's up, brother?
What's up? So, I'm stoked to have you on because I feel like even before I knew you, your life was full of stories and it's just cool experiences. And I think you just have a really unique and fun life. And honestly, that comes as a result of your view of life and your perspective of life. So I'm stoked to bring you on. I love your view of the world, your view of life. And I just want to share that more with kind of our community in our little world here, but hopefully even other people, it'll reach them too. And maybe help them live life to the fullest. But before we jump in to all these crazy stories that you've got, give or take a little bit, what if you just tell us a little bit about you? Tell us like where you're from, who is Brad Knisley? Like just give us the scope of who you are.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I was born and raised in Chillicothe, Ohio. I went to school there. I grew up there. I had an awesome childhood, loved it. And so Ohio is my home and I love it and I miss it very much. But I'm in Texas right now. And that's kind of where my wife and I, Carly, are landing. So it's been a really fun season, just developing roots there, laying a foundation, building community.
If you saw last week's episode and you saw my resentment towards Texas.
Here you go.
Then now you know why. It's because it stole my friend.
It stole your friends. But it's a great state. The great state of Texas.
Yeah.
But dude, I love my upbringing here, and honestly, really just getting out of high school. In high school, I was just like the type of person that I feel like always was just ready to get out. And like even as a young person, I was like, man, there's so much more for me in the world. And like this kind of picture of life that I'm looking at, I know that I need to get away from as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. So I was the type of person that's looking at, school and teachers and other individuals around me at the time that were just living a lifestyle that I did not like. And I knew that even though I didn't have the answers or the solutions to get out of it, I knew that I did not want to take part in it. And what I mean by that is people that we are familiar with the term, just the rat race, the wheel of life, the 9 to 5, the I can't wait for Friday. And then Sunday comes around. It's like, oh my God, it's Monday tomorrow. I just didn't want to be a part of that.
There's literally a term for that, and it's the Sunday scaries.
Yes.
That's what the teachers call it.
Dude, and it's ridiculous.
Sucks. It sucks that they have to deal with that.
Yeah. And so from a very, just early on, I knew that I just did not want a part of that. And I knew that I had to get out. And I knew that life and time is too valuable and too important, and that we're all called to greater things, to sit and let life just be gone and doing something and taking the majority of our time that is meaningless and that doesn't have value. And so I started feeling those emotions early on, and that is kind of what in a way led me to where I am today. There was obviously a lot of things that developed in between that, some amazing things, some horrible things, like just wild circumstances. But ultimately, I still don't have it figured out. And I think that's kind of the beautiful thing. I think when I was like 18, I was like, okay, I've got to find the thing. And then I have to stick to it. And I have to have the magical answer.
Yeah.
Now
Which at the time was that video for you? Was it like, okay, video's the thing?
I think it was. I think video was a major contributor to what I thought freedom was for me. But I also I was more intrigued in finding just the answer, and I honestly didn't know what it was. Even at the time, I didn't think it was video. I just knew that I wanted freedom. That's honestly the thing that it was, is I wanted freedom. Yeah. It wasn't video. It wasn't, investing. It wasn't anything. It was just, I want freedom. And so that was really important for me. I didn't know what it looked like. I didn't know how to find it, but I knew that deep down, I was just 100% convinced that that was the answer to life. I did not want to live a life that was miserable. I didn't want to waste a ton of time doing things that didn't matter. And so I was just 100% set on, let's make the most out of my time. Let's live the most beautiful, amazing, creative, fulfilled, driven life possible. And like, let's just pursue that 100%. And now, when I was 18, I didn't know what that looked like. At 27, I honestly don't know what that looks like. But it's the beauty of pursuit. It's the beauty of following your heart and like changing ideas and doing different things. And the activities and the actions and the time that's spent in life might change on what I'm focused on. But the foundation of I want to live the most fulfilled, freeing life possible, and ultimately understand through talking to older, mature, wise people that, hey, ultimately work and business and, you know, those endeavors are beautiful, but at the end of your life, the one thing you're going to remember is the time with the people that you care about most. And so how can I, as a human being, make that my number one? And so that is kind of where I'm at today of just, I love so many different things. I love video production. I love real estate investing. I love different business ideas. I love shooting and traveling and spending time with you know, awesome creatives and awesome young people and doing amazing things. But at the end of the day, like, I'm aware that the one thing that matters is time with the people that I love most. And the other perspective that I value a lot is that there are two things in life that are eternal, which are God and his people. And so how can I focus on that, number one, over everything? So if you're able to hold on to that, then the stuff that doesn't hold as much weight, it becomes less important, and you're able to shift perspective and focus on the number one. And so anyway, that's kind of it.
Good.
You, since you were 18 and we're like, this is what I want. So between 18 to 27, how have you experienced, like, have you had seasons where you were like, okay, I'm not feeling like I have the freedom that I want, and like, I got to get there? Have you had, or has it been like, man, I've just lived in this like, you know, what's that like? You know, what's it like? What's the pursuit like? And tell us a little bit about like how you get out of the hard seasons and then what the good seasons look like. Because I think for me, like, I honestly struggle with it. And it's something that, like, I remember when I first called you in 2019, I literally, like, vividly remember this conversation. I don't know why, but I remember, I think everything you say feels important to me, so I remember every conversation. But no, we're sitting together, I'm at my desk in my bedroom at OU, and I call you and I tell you about vinyl and like this dream of a coffee shop, and literally your first response was like, yeah, but do you want to be tied down, bro? He's like, don't you want to be able to travel? And I remember that really well, and it stuck with me too. And I definitely like dove into that question. And I honestly remember that, and I even like now I'm like, which part of it's just a season, and it's like kind of like, okay, these are the steps so that it opens up that door for more freedom down the road. But I would love to hear kind of like how you navigate through the seasons that have a little less of that freedom, if you've had those seasons. Because honestly, for me, it's like I want to get closer to that again and work my way towards it, still steward what I have here really well, and like embrace being rooted, but I do want a little more freedom. So I think it'll be fun to hear you kind of touch base on that too.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that life is full of ebbs and flows, and like I've had seasons that I feel the most free and where I'm like fully 100% working for myself, making my own schedule, dedicating like what do I want to do and what do I feel like is important. And then I've also had seasons, and I'm actually in a season right now where I am under somebody else in a job. I work at a church in ministry doing video production as a video director in Texas. And so luckily I love my job and I love the people that I get to work with, and like it's an incredible opportunity. But there are times where that like freedom driven self gets challenged, where I have to kind of course correct a little bit and be aware of the season that I'm in. So I've definitely went through the seasons of kind of being fully free and then being a little bit more restricted, just like you in this season building vinyl. Like you can't just hop on a plane tomorrow and leave for 10 days and not have responsibilities. So that's a important thing that we have to figure out how to manage. So I've definitely been through those seasons. I think when I was in my early 20s, I just resented that season. I think I had different jobs where I had a little bit more of a leash on me, and I resented it, and I maybe had poor performances. I maybe didn't listen to leadership as well as I should have, because it was like my way or the highway. And that was like an early 20s Brad mentality that I probably shouldn't have been operating in that way, but I did. And so now, being in my, which is crazy to say, later 20s.
It's wild.
It's wild to say that, but I'm in my later 20s. I feel a responsibility beyond myself. So I have a family. I have to pay for insurance. I have to invest into retirement. I have a wife that I care about dearly, that I want to see our life protected and value and secure. So I'm less likely to just run off into the sunset and pursue things that might not be as important. You know, my family unit is very, very important to me. So I ended up taking a job that luckily has turned out to be one of my favorite seasons of life. But I took that initially to make sure that I had a solid foundation and a solid security for my family. And also I love the church, and I love working in the church, and then producing and creating, and like God being our ultimate creator, how can I turn and just be creative for and with him?
Yeah.
I love this season of life, and that's why I initially chose to do that. But ultimately, I think that there's a lot of value in choosing a season like that. The thing is, though, it's a foundation. So a lot of people that I see in life, they might find a job or have something that is more of a leash, and then kind of fall into that 9 to 5, and just life just takes them over. They're so exhausted from work. They're so burnt out that, again, they're whatever the Sunday scaries is what you said.
Yeah.
So it's like
real.
So it's like I see a lot of people do that. My balance, if you will, to someone who is now in more of a traditional 9 to 5 setting, is that I can never let that take over my life. I can never let that become the only thing that I live for and the only thing that I invest my time and energy into. And so I create balance within that structure to still go out and live the most impactful, meaningful life that I possibly can. And for me, that looks like time with friends, traveling, doing different jobs around the country that bring me life. Like I hold a video camera for a living. And so I have to go find things that interest me, and I have to go shoot things that mean something to me, and stories that are worth being told. And so, to answer your question long-windedly, there has to be balance. And so I think for you, having vinyl on your back and having this situation, like, you have to find those moments where you can just, okay, let's travel to another city and make an album. Let's go record this thing. Let's go on a 5-day trip around, the Midwest, and just try all the coffee shops, because that's life-giving, it's rest. And so I think that it's really important that you find that balance. Yeah. And that is what I think I would say to people. Don't be like me in my early 20s, where it's just kind of F everybody and like my way or the highway, let's go. There has to be a traditional balance to it, like where you are respectful of the situation that you're in, but then you utilize that as a tool, not just a job that is your everything, and like now you don't actually pursue the better things in life. Utilize that job or that situation as a tool, and go out and still explore yourself, still ask yourself as a mid to late 20s or 30s or 40s or 50s, like, ask yourself what brings you life, ask yourself what's important to you, and go do those things. I think that's really, really important. A lot of people in our circle in our 20s and 30s are really doing well and like pursuing the things that matter most. But then I look at people outside of our circle, or just people I come across, I'm like, your life looks kind of crappy. And like, I would not envy that at all. And so it feels like they're just kind of sleeping through life. And I hate that. And I think if anything,
you don't say that in a way of like, I'm better than them. It's in a way of like, man,
I want the best for you.
You want the best for them.
Yeah.
And you also, I think it's fair to see, like, when somebody's stabbing themselves with a sword, and decide, I'm not going to do that to myself. But it leads me to, honestly, hearing you talk about this, I'm kind of picking up on something that maybe I think is important to recognize here. I think there's two versions of freedom that we could be talking about. And I think even like, if God is like a huge part of your life, then part of that too is we are called to work and keep, which means responsibility. So it's like, I feel like that's something that probably our personality type just wrestles with is like, I don't want to be responsible, you know?
Yeah.
But what I'm hearing is like, you are able to have the 9 to 5 and you're able to be in that and you're still able to live with this freedom that we're talking about. And so I guess what I was kind of picking up on is like, the type of freedom you're talking about isn't freedom from responsibility, isn't freedom from a 9 to 5 even, but it's more so a freedom that's like you're not the slave, you're not controlled, you're not like owned. And I think that's something that's we could touch base on too, because like there's people who their heart is to spend time with kids and be a teacher and like give their life to that, but they still want to travel, they still want to live life, they still want to be moms, they still want to be dads and live full lives. So I guess in that, it's like, I think you've already touched base on this a little bit, but how do you live this a 9 to 5 and still experience freedom and the fullness of life, you know? Yeah.
No, that's good. And I think honestly, even hearing you say that, I think to even simplify it more, because I could look into people who are in different seasons than all three of us. None of us have kids, right? You don't have a kid. So we don't have kids. We're not fathers yet. I could see someone with a dad who's in their mid-30s like, haha, yeah, I bet. Just wait kind of mentality. Because,
for sure.
So I think it goes even beyond that. Like it might look different for everybody. You might not be able to hop on a plane and go do something. Also, you might not. I know friends of mine that don't want to get on a plane. They love their home. They love their routine, and that I can't say that that's a bad thing. That's just their personality. That's their wiring. That's beautiful. And so, I think the most important thing, no matter your season, your age, your desires in life, the things that you want to do, is to just live present.
Yeah.
Be present with yourself. Be present with the people around you. Like that's a full life. No matter where you are, what you're doing, whether you're working a job and like that's kind of it and you love your home life and your routine, or if you're wired like us where it's like, how many businesses can I own at once? How many trips can I go on this year? How many things that can I do and experiences can I have? Like that's kind of how we're wired. That doesn't mean I can shame the person that doesn't like that. So my perspective would be like, a full life is a present life. And more than anything right now, we're all, including myself, what's the word? We are susceptible to the distractions of our cell phones and the things that are 100%. At our fingertips. Like
Tell me about that.
We all know this.
How did you deal with that problem?
Yeah.
I want the world to hear it.
Literally. Well, I feel like I've also went through seasons where I'm either really good at it or also really bad at it. Like I'm a full send type of person. So if I'm in it and my wife is a great support system in this, because if she sees me on my phone too much, she knows that mentally I'm like, I need help because I'm not doing Bradley pursuits. Like, hey, get off your phone. And so my wife and I have went through multiple different seasons with this, but one of the most instrumental action steps in my entire life was this last summer of 2025. It was like May, I think, and I just am 100% type of person, and I hit a wall with like so the story is my wife Carly had some type of friend gathering and it was a sleepover. And so she was gone all night and I got off work and it was 5 p.m. and I was like, the whole day I was so excited. Like, man, I'm going to have some alone time. I'm going to watch like 1 or 2 amazing movies that have been on my list for a long time. I'm going to make myself some wings. Like I'm just going to have a really restful, relaxing night. And I ended up spending like 3 hours on my phone. So I looked down at my phone, it's 8:00 p.m. and I'm like, are you kidding me, bro? Like you just wasted your entire evening on nothing that you'll remember. And there's a lot I can talk about cell phones. Like there's a study that was done that if you're holding your phone and looking at a screen, the moment that you're not going to remember it. They say when you get to your 40s, 50s, 60s, like this moment I will take with me. If I was sitting here in a coffee shop with you guys, just kind of having some chill conversation, but I was checking something, the 5 minutes that I was checking something, I will have zero memory of. They say that your brain's not capable of literally comprehending those things in the moment. And it even goes to show like the full environment that you're in. So if you're sitting with your family on a Sunday evening and everybody's living life, eating food, talking, but you take a 15-minute brain break on your phone, you're literally removing that memory from your life. And so it's like, it's just not worth it. And so I say all that to say that evening I hit this wall of like, enough is enough. Like, I can't allow this thing to take so much time from me. And so I literally went to the AT&T store the next day. I removed the SIM, it's like an eSIM now. There's not even a physical card. I had them remove it so my iPhone no longer worked as a cell phone. And I went and bought a flip phone, like a Nokia something flip phone for like $50. And the entire summer of 2025, I spent my life on a flip phone. And I had just an amazing time. It was like an unbelievable unplug. Everybody knows this, but nobody does it. Like, we all know that phones suck. We all know that the constant distraction of what they do for our lives is not good in any way whatsoever. But we're
then simultaneously get criticized left and right if your phone's on Do Not Disturb.
Right. Yes.
It's like, you know, my phone lives on Do Not Disturb, and it sucks when someone's trying to get a hold of me sometimes. But also, like, I do want to not get taken out of every moment that I'm in.
Yeah.
And when your phone rings all day, that's what it does.
That's what it does.
Just the vibration. I noticed one day my phone was not on Do Not Disturb, and literally, bro, I was like, dude, why is my phone? It's going crazy today. Like, halfway through the day, I was like, it's literally ruining my day.
Yeah.
And I realized, Do Not Disturb's off.
Put
it back on, baby.
That was a
full time.
subtle shot at me because I begged him to take me off Do Not Disturb.
No. You're off Do Not Disturb. There's people who are
That's how I am too.
I try to. I mean, even sometimes the people that I think are not on Do Not Disturb still get blocked. Whatever, get blocked, sucker. But anyways, yeah, it's tough. So you flip to
I went to the flip phone all summer. But even like before I go on to the next part, there are little tools that I utilize because I'm back on the iPhone now, and I'll talk about that whole thing. You really do need a modern phone in modern society. I couldn't order an Uber. I couldn't do anything. So I really did need it, but a summer away from it was very, 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 very refreshing, and allowed me to, from my perspective, build a foundation and an experience of what it was like to go without it. Yeah. So when I do get on it, and if I'm on it for 5 or 10 minutes, I'm like, my stomach feels sick now. I need to get off of this. Whereas before I was just, I was consumed by it.
Yeah.
But a little trick that I use now with my modern iPhone is that when I'm at work throughout the week, there's like different Do Not Disturb settings you can choose. Mm-hmm. And so you can create a work one. And so my work contacts can contact me, plus my wife. My wife can always get through, but then like the people that I work with on a day-to-day basis can call me. And like those people can get through because I'm on the clock for somebody or I'm building something, like they can contact me. Mm-hmm. And then you can create separate features, and it turns on as soon as I pull into my office.
Oh, it's
and
location-based?
It's location-based. So as soon as I get to work, it literally will turn it on. Same thing with home. Whenever I get home, it'll turn just where like very immediate family can access me.
That's great.
So it's just like you can like really customize it. That's to cool. Where, again, my biggest thing is to, it's on my lock screen, but this is a tool, not a habit. Like that's like written on my lock screen. So it's like, let me utilize this piece of technology as a tool to move through life efficiently, but this is not a habit. And so anyway, last summer, man, I just had an incredible time with the flip. Like it was so fun. I read more books than I had in a long time. I had just been more present. And which again, back to the thing that we started this bit of conversation with, like I think that is a full life, is just being 100% present. Like I would do these camping trips all the time on this island that was on a lake that my in-laws lived on, and so we would go out there and we would just camp and like just have the most amount of fun. And like I had a little flip phone, so it was just very very just you unplug, and it was super super nice.
Well, let me ask you this: have you had a season where being present is difficult? And I feel like honestly, so many people want to live presently, but for whatever reason, or it's just tapped and it's hard, especially in this season. I think there's a lot of scary stuff around the world. Just the cost of living is crazy. You've been able to build something, and you've built yourself to a place where it's like you have a foundation, at least I would say, but a lot of people are like week to week and it's tough. I guess my question is like, what's your advice to somebody who's just like, I want to live present, but dude, I like am tapped and I don't know how to get there?
Yeah. I think if you're not living present and you're utilizing technology as a distraction, you're running from something.
Yeah.
So I think my advice would be, what's actually deep down that's causing you turmoil, that you're trying to replace that addressing of the stuff with the dopamine hits. And that's every single time that I have been in that place, it's because I'm not addressing something, whether it's stress, financial stress, a lot's going on, and there's a lot going on at work, or whatever the stress is, like, and apply it to anything in life. If I'm feeling those things and I'm not handling it the right way, I'm going to be distracted on my phone because I'm just suppressing. The phone, unless you're utilizing it as a tool, you're just suppressing your life ultimately. And so my advice to myself continually is, okay, if I am in a hard moment, in a hard season, which we all know life is full of, like, let's address the root of the problem. Where's that stress coming from? What's going on in life that's causing me that pain or whatever's going on? And, like, let's address it, which ultimately most of the time is healed if you just shut yourself up away from distraction and sit with yourself for a little bit of time. Like, that's the first thing that I realized when I got on my flip phone was I was amazed at how, first off, the first night I had it, every 5 minutes I was going and reaching for my phone just to pick it up and look at it. And, like, getting through that was like, I'm like, dude, I was addicted to this thing. Like, I literally am reaching for it all the time. The second thing that I noticed was it had probably been, I was 26 years old when I did this, and it had probably been, I got an iPhone probably when I was like 13 or 14. I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old the last time that I sat with myself bored. Because when we got into our early teenage years, and then from there on out, we had these iPhones at our fingertips. We had social media. We had the girls we were trying to talk to. We had all of the stuff that was pulling our time. So every quiet moment and a moment full of boredom was replaced with a distraction to keep our minds busy. And that was my story for over a decade. And so when I went to the flip phone, that was the first thing that I realized of, like, I have nothing to take away my time right now. Like, I have nothing pulling my focus away. So I was sitting with myself that first night, bored, like, on my couch with no technology in front of me, just a quiet house. My flip phone cannot do anything besides text, which was horrible because it was like the little, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The little weird keypad. So I would only call people, which also helped my life because I wasn't using texting as a crutch. I was only calling and connecting with people straight up. But yeah, I was, like, bored for the first time in probably, like, a long time because it's really hard to get bored in this, day and age with everything that we have available to us. And so I also just loved that. And I think that in itself allowed me, to answer your question, to address the things that maybe were really causing me the stress and sitting with myself and handling it. And then once you handle it and you get into, like, an emotional, clear headspace, and I can resolve that issue and know that ultimately, no matter what stress is happening, like, I know that it's going to work out. I've been through some of the worst crap in each, pillar of life. And I'm like, I know that it's going to work itself out. I know that it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I know that ultimately, no matter what, it's just going to be okay because I have a solid foundation. I have community around me, and I know that it's going to work out. And so I think that, to be present and to be present in a stressful season, I think it's just trying to unplug and, like, actually address the root of what's going on.
That's sick, bro.
Yeah.
Really good. Thanks for sharing. That's cool. So we've mentioned that we were going to talk about some stories. I feel like we should jump into some of that too. First, I don't even know if I would really know you without this big story that I feel like you talk about this all. You probably have to talk about it way too often. But you literally fell off a cliff. So would you want to share that story a little bit? And,
Yes.
and then we can get into, like, so you fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
And then that led to you and Trent connecting, which led to you and I connecting. It's just cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about that, bro.
Yeah. So this was 2018. And this was, like, right in the beginning stages of the era of me picking up the video camera, which is really cool. So essentially I picked up a video camera and photo camera, senior year of high school, and started shooting. And I mean, literally immediately fell in love with it. I thought the idea of documenting my life, documenting my friends' lives, trips, all these different things, I was just amazed and just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And so fast forward to, a year after high school, 2018, I started just traveling as much as I could. So me and 2 other buddies were essentially doing the same thing, documenting life via photo and video. And we're like, man, we just want to go on trips and we want to shoot and we want to learn and we want to kind of develop this craft, if you will. And so one of the trips that I went on, that kind of gap year, if you will, I didn't go to college. Well, I went for a semester, and that's another story. But I left college and was like, dude, I just want to travel and like really get good at this video thing. Even though I have no idea if it's going to supply me a living. Like, I just love it so much. So one of the trips that we went on was Colorado. And it was me and 2 buddies, and we were in Colorado for like a week, just like exploring the national parks in the area, hiking, camping, like just having like the most amount of fun ever, like shooting,
filming all of it.
Yeah. Like shooting all day long, going to a coffee shop for 2 hours and like editing everything that you shot. Like the early stages of like when you first fall in love with that craft, and like all you want to do is just sit there and shoot and edit. And so that was the time of life for me. And it was our last day. And we were staying at our friend's house in Fort Collins, Colorado. And on our way to the airport, which I think that's my phone, if that's okay.
That's all right.
I can turn it off. We stayed in Fort Collins and went to... I'm distracting myself.
Yo, Deej.
So we stayed in Fort Collins, and on our way to whatever airport we were flying out of,
That is so crazy, bro.
What is that noise?
The door. Our
Sorry.
friend DJ's in here too, and he just used about the door. Yo, what's up, DJ? You're good, bro. Oh, that's great. So you're in Fort Collins. You're headed to the airport, and
We make a last pit stop at a place called Garden of the Gods, and it's like this insane.
That's where okay.
Yeah, have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, as you know, it's like this otherworldly looking area where it's just these red canyon rocks that are like span like 50 to 100 foot high and just like are rolling, and it's like flat ground, and then it's just a massive rock face. It's kind of thin and narrow. And so we're hiking around, shooting. We're like literally on our way to the airport, but we just wanted to make a quick pit stop. And we're hiking around this area, and we see like a spot where it shows like a fence, and it's like no climbing. And of course we wanted to climb it. And so we went through the fence and like up this rock face that we were not supposed to be on. And we were probably like 50 foot, 75 foot high at the very peak of it. And, we're up there, we're shooting photos, we're flying our drone around, like there's people down there, and the sun's literally setting. And so I'm essentially up on this rock, and we're being stupid. Like, we're kind of in that season of life where it's like, oh, we're invincible, nothing's going to happen to us. Yeah. We're fine. Like, we're good. And me and my friend Jesse, we're like sprinting across this rock face on the top. It's like literally as wide as this table. Like, it's not very big at all. And so we're running across this rock face and just being silly, not thinking about it. Like, not thinking that if we, like, literally to the right of us is like a 50-foot drop to the bottom. And so anyway, we're running, and we're finally just like about to make our way down. And I was going to give my drone controller to my other friend so he could fly it around. And I was making my way down, and there was like a little jump that was like literally not even far at all, like 3 or 4 feet, but it was like multi-level. So I went to jump to that to go to the next platform to go down. And I don't remember really at all, because all I remember is my friends telling me what happened at that point. But I jumped, and like the last thing I remember is my foot hit, and I remember the feeling of like when you're about to fall and the gravity starts shifting, because I had a big heavy camera bag on, and I couldn't lunge forward, and I slipped and fell backwards. And like that's the last thing that I remember. It's like that feeling of like, uh-oh.
Dude, do you think your camera bag saved your life? Did you like land?
Great question. I landed on my face.
Oh, frick.
So I don't know that the camera bag did anything. It probably did soften something. Like maybe it landed first and then I just went.
Yeah.
But I did land on my face and had like, I was kind of messed up. But the story in itself is wild, because I didn't have a broken bone. There's no broken bones. 50 feet. So no broken bones, no internal bleeding. Like my face is somewhat okay. And yeah, what's wild though is like add additional layers to the story that just make it insane is that where I fell, I hit and landed, and then there was like this ravine where I guess I like just rolled down, because my friends, by the time they got down, they couldn't find me anywhere. So I had like continued to roll down this ravine. And so it's dark at this point. They can't find me. I think for like an hour or something, like they could not find me. Their phones had no cell service, so they couldn't call 911. And so for an hour, they think I'm dead, laying at the bottom of this thing. Like that's, if we talk to my friends, like that's literally what they thought. It was like I just watched my best friend die. 45 minutes to an hour later, they find me like crawling up, which I don't remember any of this, but crawling up the ravine. And I had my drone was gone, but I had my drone somehow, even though I was like not conscious, like I don't remember this, but I had enough like life or death type of adrenaline that I had like my drone controller clenched in my hand, crawling up this ravine, like not remembering any of it. And my face, like there's photos, and my face is just pouring blood. Bro. Like my eye looks like it's like weird and messed up, and I'm just all busted up. And I literally they find me, and then as soon as I like heard their voices, they just said that I like rolled over and like fell on, like I guess passed out like on my back. And I was just like laying there, and they grabbed my phone, and my phone had full service.
Which was totally shattered, right?
My phone was I think it was shattered. There's blood all over it, but my phone had full service. So they used my phone.
It's my favorite part of this story.
Yeah,
it's like wild.
It's insane. Like the fact that I had my phone in my hand after all of that. It's just wild. So had my phone, it had full service. They called 911, a pararescue mountain team, which I didn't even know what that was before this moment, but it's essentially a team that's, trained to go up to some of those peaks and like rescue and retrieve people. And so they came. The first memory that I have on my own that hasn't been told to me is opening my eyes and seeing like 8 of these men around me with headlamps, just like putting me into this thing that I would describe as a sleeping bag that they like pump up really, really tight. So that way my body is like locked up, because they, at that point, thought that I would have had
spine
broken
injury,
broken back, broken neck, internal bleeding. Like they're like, this dude's probably going to die. And I remember waking up and like, also I didn't know what year it was. I thought I was like dating a girl that I was not dating. Like my brain was very, very, very foggy. And so I didn't remember. It was just very, very foggy. And so I woke up and I remember like, I was like, am I going to die? Am I going to die? And they were like, just let us take care of you. We're going to get you to the hospital as soon as we can. That's the first thing I remember. And so then they put me on this like stretcher that is like a mountain bike wheel. And then they're like running me through that area to get me into the ambulance to take me to whatever hospital is nearby. And so I get to the hospital. I remember them rushing. They're like cutting all my clothes off in the ambulance. Like I remember I had just butt naked, like just laying there. They're taking my jewelry off me. I'm laying butt naked in this thing. And I remember them rolling me into the ER. And like, it's like that movie scene where the lights are just like, whoosh, whoosh, and they're running me into the operating room or whatever. And I remember the doctor, the nurse or something walking me through the steps like, hey, we're going to do this scan on your body to see where we need to operate, because they were like, there's no way that at a fall that height that you do not have either internal bleeding or some type of broken something. Like we're going to have to do surgery. And so they're walking me through that. They're doing a scan on me or whatever. And they roll me into the OR room, and it's like the anesthesiologist like walking me through like what they're about to do. And they're just waiting for the scans to get put up on the screen. So they, I guess, know like where to cut. It was essentially like what I was being communicated. And the scans came up, and I remember the doctor was just like, you're a real lucky man. And that's all he said. And I was just like laying there without the anesthesia yet. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like, there's not an ounce of blood internally. Your back's fine, your neck's fine, your head's fine. Like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know how your head's fine, because you have a literal smashed in occipital bone, I think is what it's called. He's like, you're like, he's like, you should not be okay right now. But I was. And so it's just freaking wild, dude.
Yeah.
And so I remember they let me go that night. I was in there for several hours. A friend that I stayed with came to pick me up, and that was just an amazing experience, and took care of me. And like literally until my family was able to get there, like I was laying like half beaten and bloodied in the bed at the house, and just like, they were taking care of me, and it was really, really awesome. so it was just wild. The other crazy detail that I don't know if I've told anybody this part, I think we racked up like $80,000 of medical debt because of the Pararescue Mountain Team and like all the stuff. It was like some insane bill after insurance. It was like after insurance that we had to, my mom was responsible for that. And I was 18 at the time, so I had no money. And she had like done like a payment plan on the hospital bill or something because it was so much money. And like 6 months after paying it, she went to go make her monthly payment and the balance was like wiped. And she was super confused. And she calls the hospital. And they're like, oh yeah, your balance was paid. Someone died in the area and they paid the entire hospital's medical debt. And so my mom, who had $80,000 of debt from this incident, was like completely forgiven. Like not forgiven, but just paid off by a wealthy man. And so that was like another really
That's a
awesome,
cool way to go. Let's just pay off all that medical debt.
So that was also awesome because for years I felt so bad. Like I just, racked up an insane amount of debt that I can't pay. And so it was really, really cool. Just like a kind of cherry on top.
Have you been back to Garden of the Gods?
Yes, dude. So that's really cool question because I went back in 22. A friend of mine's friend was was proposing at the top of a place called a Stairway to Heaven nearby that area. It's like the insane climb up. It's like a mile just straight up. And I did it with Tyler Rossum actually, and he threw up on the way up because he was so, I'm not gonna say this negatively, but he would say this himself. He was very out of shape, like he's a skinny dude, but he was very cardiovascular.
Dude, it's tough going from the Midwest to Colorado.
Yeah. And so he was literally sitting on the edge throwing up. And I'm like, bro, we got to go because we were supposed to beat them up to be prepared to shoot because they were going to get up on their hike and propose. So anyway, I went out there a couple of years ago to film a proposal and we stayed and then we went like horseback riding through it and I literally got to look at the peak that I fell off of and I'm like, that's insane. Yeah. So it's just a wild story, man. And I feel very, very grateful like looking back because like I have heard so many stories. I've heard stories of like someone got in a bar fight, got punched, fell over and is paralyzed because they like landed the wrong way. I've seen there's just someone in Texas, a family that my family knows of. He was on a construction site, fell through one floor, which is 10 feet, like 15 feet, and is paralyzed and can't walk.
Just landed wrong.
And I fell 50, literally like on my face/neck, like this whole area that you'd think that I would just be dead. And so I feel super grateful. Yeah. And that's like another just like charge to like, man, if I've been given the opportunity to live life, let's live it.
Yeah. And then you got a tattoo.
I did get a tattoo.
Yeah.
I'll take off my shirt for you. Yeah, that's another awesome thing. The short version of the story is Kelsey Tosca.
Dude, I literally mentioned her. Was it in last episode? I mentioned Kelsey, and I was like, I think I said her name right.
Yeah, Kelsey, I love you. Kelsey's the best.
She's amazing.
And I just forget I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I think it's Tosca.
I think you're right, Tosca.
But Kelsey's amazing, and her and I worked together at Roast Coffee back on 2nd Street in the Go OG days. And when I fell, she is an amazing artist, and I talked to her about designing my tattoo. And so it's this tattoo of God's hand, like this, and then literally the mountain range, like perfectly designed, and the peak that I fell off of. And I went to this guy in Columbus who's a phenomenal single needle black ink tattoo artist, and so he did this amazing piece on my chest when I was all about tattoos. And it's amazing. And it's a really cool, like, just testament to God's goodness.
You kind of, it's like that experience gave you the Psalm 42 moment in your life.
100%.
Like,
yes.
In the Psalm 42 is like, I've downcast, oh my soul. Like, why have you forsaken me? Essentially, like, as a deer pants for water, so my soul thirsts for you.
Yeah.
And then the second half of the Psalm is like, but I remember.
Yeah.
And so, even when you're, let's say you're 45 and you go through some horrible experience, you're going to be able to look back and go, but I remember when I fell from the Garden of the Gods and your hand caught me. You know, and it's 100%. Like, that's so sick.
It's a cool thing to look back on.
That's cool. So thanks for sharing that story, bro.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
And then, wild.
Like, just quick synopsis for everyone. It leads to how we met. Like, you fell off the cliff. You obviously tell the story, which, by the way, we're going to put the video, if that's cool, in the bio, because you put a video out.
I did.
Super cool video.
Super cheesy, though, looking back. Super cheesy.
Yeah, but at the time, it was powerful, and it was cool.
At the time, yes.
It was like a mini doc?
No, it was kind of like a YouTube video that I put together of me, like, kind of cheesy VO of me like talking in some like weird cinematic voice. It's kind of silly, embarrassing.
We'll
but
still put it in. It was still
put it
cool.
in.
At the time, it was
at
cool.
the time it was like kind of nostalgic and sweet. But then it was kind of like this like, encouragement to go live life. Like, this is what happened. This is wild, but I'm not going to stop. Let's go live life.
Cool.
And so it was neat at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is 8 years old. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
But it's cool how, I mean, this is where social media, at least back in the day, I think it's probably way less likely to help with this kind of thing in real life anymore because it's no longer social media. It's like influence media. But back at that time, social media was like actually a way to connect. And it was through Instagram, and then you and Trent, where you guys already connected just because you were both kind of doing photo, video, creating content, putting creation out there into the world. And you connected on that level. But then when you fell off a cliff, Trent was like, hey bro, like, here for you.
It was
Would
super
love
cool.
to-
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what happened next? I don't really remember
Yeah.
it
So
too well.
what happened was I fell. I had only seen Trent like one time in real life.
Like at Roast or something?
At Roast.
Getting coffee.
And yeah, at Roast. And I think I saw him at Roosters once. And we were just very, very acquaintance level. Like, what's up, dude? I know you shoot photos. I shoot video. Like, what's up? That was it. I fell. He saw that I had fallen on Instagram, and like the goated amazing dude he is, he reached out and was like, oh my gosh, what can I do? Like, let's go to dinner. Like, and I'm like, I can't walk right now, so I can't go to dinner. But like, there are a bunch of homies at my house just hanging out. You're welcome to come. Trent didn't know any of these people, and he showed up. And I'm like, I think he brought me some like care packagey stuff, and was like, bro, I'm so glad you're good. Never hung out with him before. Him and I immediately just became best friends,
Yeah,
and
cool.
literally had some of the most hilarious, amazing, entertaining, wild times in like that first year of our friendship. And then a few months, maybe like a month or two after I'd fallen, Trent and I became friends. He introduced us at the Box Top. I know we had met.
We met before that
We did
even.
meet a little bit before that, but
So,
not by much.
It was the Noah, Tori, Hallie Christmas show at Pipper City.
Yes.
And we went to Steak and Shake, and you're allergic to pickles, but you still ate the burger.
Yes.
But you did get your second burger still.
Bro, you're allergic
Yes.
to pickles?
I don't think I am anymore,
Okay.
which means I don't know if allergies like ebb and flow, but there was a season in that like high school college area where they like aggravated my throat so much.
I've never heard
I'm
of
not
that.
an
That's
expert, but I
crazy.
do think
I think-
allergies fluctuate every 7 years.
Yeah.
Just give or take.
So
something
now,
that.
like, I love pickles now, but there was a season where I'm like, they like didn't gross me out because I honestly liked the flavor and ate them a lot. But yeah, there was a season where they just like really agitated my throat. So I was never at the risk of my throat closing up, but they were just annoying.
I just remember that moment.
Yeah,
so
and I was like,
well.
I'll eat it.
And
It's
like
fine.
going to Steak and Shake, I felt like it was funny because that night for me, I was like, I don't want to leave my house. I'm like Haley was begging me to go to this thing. And I was like, I don't know. And then Trent was like, I'll go. Let's do it. Trent talks me into it. And Haley, they talked me into it. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So we go to this thing. But I just remember even that night, dude, like literally 2018, it was December of 2018. Even in that moment, it was like, dang, this group is cool. Like totally impulsive in a sense, but like living just like, I would say you were even living freely then,
100%.
fresh out of that fall, fresh out of a lot of hard things in life. And right away I was like, dude, this is a cool thing. I want to be part of this. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, and then what was it? Maybe like I went through a really hard season, February of 2019. And I remember like probably pretty quickly when that hard season started, it just started fast, it's like, oh, we're in it now. I remember coming to Chillicothe, meeting with Trent, and that's when you introduced me to motorcycles. So you're literally the reason I ride motorcycle.
That's cool.
Which I'm grateful for. My mom, probably not. But and then it was like, I think we rode motorcycle that night because you were about to sell the Ninja. The Ninja that you crashed the first day you got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Legendary. And then we rode motorcycle, and then it was like literally like 3 days later, you called me randomly, and you're like, yo, you want to come like join us at the Box Top?
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah. It was an amazing season. And I think looking back at that is what happens when you are just like 100% dedicated to just living the best life. Like you're just always networking, always having these insane connections. And I feel like that season more than any, like we were all just meeting so many awesome people, and then not just meeting them and like, oh, it's great to meet you, let's get dinner sometime. It's like you were actually taking action steps immediately.
To hang. Like you guys even came, which I felt like this was so, like I barely knew you guys yet still. And I think this might have been, no, I don't know. It might have been before the box. It might not have been. But I barely knew you guys. And a bunch of people came from Chillicothe to where I was playing a show. I was playing bass
up in Athens.
band. You guys all came down to Athens.
Yeah.
And yeah, just instantly was like, dude, these people are like super cool. This is fun. Yeah, it was a cool thing. Yeah.
It was a great season.
Yeah, and then we had a great conversation in the hot tub. Our hair was literally frozen. So if you ever hear us refer to the hot tub, that's why.
It was an amazing,
life-changing conversation. Literally was like a pivotal moment of like, okay, I'm going to leave this place different.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I think for both of us, because we both just had like things that we healed through in the midst of that. So,
Couple dudes chilling in a hot tub.
That's right.
So that's sick, dude. So tell us a little bit about like your full-time gig is video. That's your main thing. You're also doing real estate. What else is there? I feel like there's so much, and I'm like scratching the surface. Those are the main things.
Those are the main things. Is should I wait for that? I feel like I just ask you. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good.
So yeah, video is the main thing, which I've kind of had like this back and forth relationship with. There have been seasons where I've been unbelievably in love with it, and then there have been seasons where I'm like, there's no way I'm doing this for the rest of my life. Like it, and still to this day, just kind of going back and forth. But something that I kind of realized a couple of years ago was that there's this terminology of specialist and generalist, and there are people like specialist who. A specialist that I think about is my friend Sawyer Skipper. He's phenomenal at what he does, but like he is just sold out on what he does, which he directs. He's a video director, and he's phenomenal. He's just unbelievably talented, and like that's his life, and he consumes it, and he wants to output it. Like he's just insane. And I thought that's what I wanted to be in terms of like being a DP, and I kind of realized that wasn't filling me up the way that I would have hoped it would. And so I fall in the line of like a generalist, which means like I want to do a bunch of different things. I don't want to specialize in this one activity that I become incredible at. I want to be great at things, but like I love too many different things to just stick with one. So I kind of realized that, and that's honestly makes so much sense because that's been my personality since I was a kid. Like I would find a hobby and become addicted to it, and then I would buy everything associated with it, and then 3 months later I'd be like on to the next thing, but I would be kind of good at this thing, and then I'd move on to the next one. And so that's just my personality. But as far as like what life looks like now, video is a major part of it. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I don't, but it is a major part of my life. And even recently I've had these like eye-opening conversations and realizations that there are few jobs that allow me to go be creative, to go tell stories, to travel around the world and see so many different things and get paid to do it. And like it's just rare. And so I do feel very, very grateful for just picking up a camera in the first place and then still holding on to it this day to this day. And so, but yeah, real estate, investing, business, like I love all of that stuff. And as I continue to progress in life, I just want to take as much energy and effort that I have and just throw it into those sectors and it's all rooted in the same thing, which is what we talked about when we first started this conversation, which is freedom. Even from like being 16 years old, I watched how certain people lived, and I'm like, you are, a slave to these things. And like, you have to just output and perform to pay all these things, and then you have to reset and do it again. And so even like as a teenager, I saw that, and I'm like, I don't want to live that way. Like I can't live that way, or I'm just going to hate life. And so I started learning and having conversations with people about just what did real estate investing look like? How do you do it? And started trying to figure out how to get creative, because real estate, as you know, costs money, and you have to, leverage either relationships or money to get it. And so started learning as much as I possibly could about that for a while, and started buying and doing different things to just obtain property, which at the end of the day is just for freedom, not because I love getting a call when there's a plumbing issue or when I love dealing with tenants who don't want to pay their rent. Like, there's nothing about that that's necessarily enjoyable. There is a bright side to it, which is I have the opportunity to just try and be the best landlord they've ever had, which is my goal. That's like my hope for it, but I wouldn't necessarily choose that as an occupation because it can be really stressful when you're the one on the end of the phone that's saying like, hey, 2 AC units went out at your property and it's going to be 10 grand, or hey, your foundation needs a lot of work. That's all of those things have happened to me, and those phone calls are never fun or enjoyable. And so I wouldn't choose it, but I do understand that there's a major aspect to it that will help me. I'm doing it now so that way one day I can be much more free. So that's why I do it. Same thing with investing. I think it's really, really important for us to do that. I don't think a lot of people take advantage of it, especially like even the simple stuff I'm really passionate about, just maxing out your Roth IRA, things like that not a lot of people do. But if you let time work in your favor and allow those things to compound over time, like you're just throwing in one egg in a basket, like not just putting all of your eggs in one basket, but just simply thinking about like the future of your life. And again, for me, freedom. So like, how can I be 35 with X amount of rental properties and have way more money coming in of me not really doing a lot of work? It allows me to, at that point in time, think about, okay, what do I want to do with my time? Because I have X coming in that replaced my job. I don't really have to work this job anymore. I can go and pursue the things that I want to pursue in life. Like, it all turns to freedom. And so, it's very fun. And then even beyond that, like constantly trying to just be creative and think about different avenues that we're able to pursue as creatives, as Christ followers, as business people. Like, what can we apply our time to that's worth something? And it might mean something different. For me, like, there are certain opportunities that I pursue that I'm like, man, this is going to be an awesome way to beef up my income. Or there might be there might be things that I pursue that just are really, really beautiful to pursue creatively, or just life. And so I feel like we're all successful if we're doing that and thinking through those things. One example is one thing I'm doing right now is this thing called, I'm not actually not going to say the name because it's not an LLC yet, but I just do it on the side for fun. But I essentially, this idea started a couple months ago and I started pursuing it, and it's super awesome. But I will go film a multi-hour documentary style interview with a very old person that their family is paying me to go sit down with them in their home to tell their entire life story, from childhood to who was their first love, to the hardest thing they ever went to as a young adult, to what's one thing that they regret in life and they want to redo more than anything, to what is their letter to the next generation.
That's
like
amazing.
A full scope story of
Dang, that's sick, dude.
Yeah, so I did one in Oklahoma several weeks ago, and this woman, she was 92, turning 93 years old, and she just had a phenomenal story. And I went out there and I sat with her for a couple hours, and I set up this beautiful dock setup in her living room, and just sat with a cup of coffee and just sat across and talked to her. And yes, it's money, but I would do it for free. Like, it's so cool. And I'm sitting across from her, and there are very, very, very few, if ever, circumstances that we as young adults put ourselves in where we're sitting across and listening to someone who's lived 93 years of life for hours. Like, what are your experiences? What are the lessons you learned? Tell me about your life. And so it's been really, really satisfying for me as a creative and like a person who wants to live the best life possible to sit here and listen to this sweet lady tell me about her experiences, tell me about some of the regrets she's had, and tell me about the life that she wants the next generation to live. I'm literally downloading lessons, just listening to her talk. Like,
That's
I'm
amazing.
accelerating my life and expediting my learning process by listening to someone who's lived a lot longer than I have. And I think sometimes we kind of think we know it all. At least for me, I'm like, oh, I got this. But like, to sit down with someone 5 times my age or whatever, 4 times my age, and just learn and listen without like speaking about my life. Like I didn't tell her anything about me, but just like I wanted to consume and learn a lot. And so it was really, really awesome, man. And she said so many amazing things that really has shaped my perspective. I had to call my wife immediately on the way home and just be like, listen to what some of these things this woman said. But one of the things I asked her, I said, like, if you could go back and change anything, like, what would it be? And the one thing that she said over and over is she wished that she would have worked less and spent more time watching her kids grow up and play with them. Like that's all she thought about was she would address it. I've had a lot of time alone in this later part of my life. Her husband had passed like 9 or 10 years prior to this interview. And so she spent the last decade alone, you know, obviously she has family around, but a lot of time just in her house thinking. And that's the one thing, if I could go back and spend more time playing with my young kids, watching them grow up and spend less time working, you know, that's what I would do without it. Like she didn't talk about how much money she made in a year. She didn't talk about some of her biggest accomplishments at her job. She just wanted to and wished that she was more present with the people that she loved most, which is just a hoorah for all of us to just get inspired to, okay, that is the most important thing. And I'm doing more of those. And that's the common theme.
Didn't Steve Jobs even say that from his,
that was like one of his deathbed interviews. He said, none of this matters. I don't remember the exact quote, but essentially paraphrasing, it was none of this matters. These things are irrelevant. And he also said, like, I wish my kids never had an iPhone or something. There's some quote. I don't know. There's something like that, but we'll have to check in on that. But he did make a very direct comment about that was the one thing that mattered more than anything. Not the other thing. So I feel just like I want to do everything I can to champion myself and the people around me. Like, this is what really matters. Like, let's focus all of our attention and energy on that. And yes, it's fun and beautiful to build things, but there has to be balance or you're going to look back and you're like, oh man. And I missed it. I missed it. Yeah. And there are seasons where you spend more time building things than others, but it's the hope of the success for exponential, more freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's cool, dude.
That's such an honor that you're able to do that.
Oh, it's so sick, dude.
Go sit with those people.
Yeah, and I would encourage you to do it, like, as a filmmaker yourself.
I actually had somebody hit me up like last week.
I would literally do it. Like, I'm doing one with my grandpa tomorrow morning. And yeah, because it's like I'm in town and like I don't want to miss that chance to sit down and hear his entire life story because I don't know that I ever have. I know.
And honestly, like, that's like, it's crazy to think, but nobody's been able to do that. Like, you're doing something with your grandpa that he wished he could have had with his grandpa. Yeah. Like, he wished he could have heard that. And it's like, for the first time, we're going to be able to document generationally if we take advantage of that.
Correct.
And like, 200 years from now, instead of it being like, here's a photo on this tree and the photo is only this big and this is all you get. It's like, it's going to be, this is your great grandpa telling a story. And that's crazy.
It's pretty neat. Yeah, and she even did like love letters to her family at the end. So like that they'll never hear until she passes. But
and did you leave the room for those or were you in? You were there for the love letters?
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. So you get to hear this thing that you can't share.
Yeah. She's going to share them with her family when she passes. And it's like her literally telling, her grandkids and her kids and like isolated things to her family that, don't forget how I feel about you, and would share individual things. It's really cool.
That's powerful.
That you would never have unless you recorded that.
Was that emotional
It was. Like, I left. I wasn't like emotional, but like I was very moved. I was very, very moved by it because she's 93 years old. Like, we took advantage of it filming this while she's here, and her family's going to get to hold on to those things forever, which is really cool. But yeah, so things like that, just like, man, they're just really, really fun and I wouldn't have come up with that idea if I wasn't being present in a moment. Yeah. And it's like, so just being fully aware and in the moment with certain things in your life, like, allows you to grow in different areas and learn things that you wouldn't have learned otherwise.
It's interesting. Even the subject of like asking, do you have any regrets with X, Y, and Z? That I get multiple times I heard from when Chad and I talked about who Chad is on episode 2, right, of No Rewind. I asked you if you regretted something. Do you regret not being part of more sports or something like that? And literally, multiple people were like, dude, that was the best question the whole time. And it's interesting. I feel like so many people just want to like, it's helpful to hear like what we wish we did different so we can try to apply that. But, at the end of the day, we're always it's inevitable that when we're 90, there's going to be things that we look back on with regret. But it's cool to hear those things and then try to apply that to your life and stay ahead of it. And
to eliminate as many things as you can that you might end up wishing you didn't do or did do.
Right.
I think the other thing that I've heard a lot of people say is very, very, very few people look back and regret like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't do that.
Yeah.
Or sorry, I can't believe I did do that.
Right.
A lot of people look back and say, I cannot believe I did that.
Yeah.
That's a lesson learned. That's a story. And most likely after a few years, that's a funny story, even if it was a big mistake most of the time. But most people look back and are regretting the things that they did not do. Not taking a chance, not taking an opportunity, not doing X, Y, Z, whatever it might be that they can apply to their own life. And so that's why it's like, yes, I don't want to be stupid and I don't want to make too many mistakes, but I'd rather just full send a lot of things and go 100% forward, 100 miles per hour, and just consume and experience as much as I can in life, as long as I'm valuing and taking care of the things that matter most in my life, which are the people in it. As long as that is taken care of, like, let's just go, versus just like not living, not traveling. Like you always hear it, like, I wish I would have went to Europe and that was another thing this lady said. She had talked about, she wanted to go to Ireland. She'd never been. And she wished more than anything as she got to go see Ireland because she knew how beautiful it was, but she didn't go. And that was like one of two things that she had said. It's like, dude, go live.
Yeah. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
With all the things that you're doing, how do you avoid getting burnout? This is a callback to last week's episode.
Yeah,
Okay,
last
cool.
week we talked a little bit about burnout. We've both been dealing with burnout and the ebbs and flows of that. So,
But
and
like
I think a lot of people are. But
you were telling me your like next couple months are like buck wild crazy.
Yeah.
So
they've been crazy and they're going to get crazy. Yeah. I think you avoid burnout by prioritizing the things that matter and time alone. I think that if any three of us had a crazy month and you just kind of flew by the seat of your pants and you lived the schedule that was set for you, you're going to just be dead exhausted.
Yeah.
But if I look at the month ahead or any day in general, and I choose the time that I know is important to me, and I have to prioritize that time, for me, I'm much less likely to feel just dead exhausted, zero creativity, tired all the time, and just mentally just like my mind spinning. Like we all know that feeling where your mind just will not shut off. I think you have to just prioritize the things that matter. And so for me, it's quiet time, and when I'm in the healthiest season I'm in, and I'm operating at the level that I want to, it's waking up before anybody else, and it's having that time to just like sit and read something that I want to prioritize reading, with some type of ambiance on the TV, like where it's like pitch black outside and it's just dead still. Like that is recharging for me. And so if I know that I need to avoid burnout because I'm going crazy and there's so much going on, I'm kind of stabbing myself in the foot if I'm not prioritizing that time. And so that's one thing for me, is waking up before anybody else. It's dark, it's quiet, it's still, and I'm reading and recharging and kind of giving myself the tools and resources I need to go be excellent for the rest of that time. And that's one of many, many examples. I think the other thing is spending a lot less time on, the entertainment stuff. Like we're constantly being thrown entertainment and distraction. And some of it's awesome and it's kind of fun to consume, but some of it is just a waste, television, every new television series that comes out that everybody's talking about, you have to go watch it. It's like, okay, I want to watch that, but that's 10 hours of entertainment and I'm going to binge it in 1 week. And then there goes my time that I'm going to pour into myself. Yeah. And so avoiding getting sucked into that, like I'm not saying don't do it. Yeah. I do it. I love movies. I love television, but don't let it become your routine to go work and do the thing that you're doing in that season, then get home and make dinner and then watch 3 episodes of something until you have to wake up the next morning because you're not providing time to actually have deep rest. Yeah. So I think slowing down on the entertainment stuff and like really, really prioritizing that time to develop and to sit with yourself, read, write, like do analog things. Like that's something that I'm trying to do more of, is is how can I spend less time on the phone and less time on the digital world and like be just way more analog. One thing that Carly and I are doing this year that we're really excited about, and we're still working towards it, but it's just super fun, is I ordered this scrapbook type thing, but it's like looks way cooler than like a scrapbook. It's like this really beautiful leather bound thing. And both of us went through our entire 2025 year and pulled images and like favorited images that were like the most meaningful, the most remembering, like that we just really, really, really valued. And we're going to print them all off and like go and paste them into this book and then like write down moments and memories and like what were we feeling during that time. And then we're going to do that every single year, kind of in that like slow time between Christmas and New Year's when you're just like, a lot of people are just chilling. Like, how can we create more analog experiences like that where we're, yes, looking back at our life, but also bettering our life, which is where like reading and writing come in. Like that's I read something the other day where it's like, if you're reading, like you're already which is crazy to say this because it feels like such a common understanding, like when we were growing up in school, but like you're already so much farther ahead than most people if you're just like consuming literature, because so many people are just consuming the dopamine doom scrolling. And so if you do that, you're already so much farther ahead than most people. And you are, in a way, being much better than other people by not burning out and not just being constantly distracted. Because that's never, if you're just doing this and scrolling, like you're not actually turning your head off. You have to like really, really slow down. Yeah. So I think that's how you avoid it. That's good. Creating time to actually slow down. Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny. I feel like today's conversation with you has been like literally the epitome of why we started No Rewind. Like the name No Rewind is literally like, we don't want to miss, like, and when we originally came up with the name, it was like, we don't want to miss out on life, and there's no rewind. Like it's such a, it feels almost so simple to say, but this has been such a cool conversation. And I think it's really going to encourage people to kind of take steps to live with that mindset of like, live in today, be present. You can't come back to this, and soak it up. And it's so cool to hear it from you. Do you have any, like, kind of as we wrap up, do you have any last things you wanted to share, or any advice for anyone listening on kind of how they can live like that? I mean, you've already shared so much. So if you're like, dude, I've said it all, then that's cool.
Yeah. No, I think I've said a lot of it that's just come to me as we've talked. But yeah, I mean, I think I was talking about this with someone earlier, and life's just too short. Like, it's like I was with my best friends at a little high school reunion trip of like all my core friends in high school, our little group that we ran around with. And we do an annual backpacking trip every year, or camping, whatever. And so we got together this past weekend, and so much came up of like, I realized I had been friends with one of my best friends, DJ, for 15 years.
Should we get him?
Yeah, pull him in.
DJ, come here, bro. Come here, bro. Come on. 15 years. Yeah. Yeah, we're done.
No, you're coming in.
You're coming in, bro. Come on. Come on, DJ. Yeah. We were just talking about you. He just brought you up. So what were you saying?
So we literally, get that stool.
Get the rolly chair, DJ. DJ Britt, everybody. A legend, a barista, and a builder.
Let's go. We're bringing in some diversity right now.
Sensation.
Let's go.
Oh, man.
But what I was saying is that like it's crazy that even over this last weekend with our little like high school boy trip, that him and I were talking. It's like, I've been friends with you for 15 years. And to say that feels literally insane, which goes back to the kind of outro of this conversation. It is... time flies. It goes by so fast. And like, if you're not fully like slowing down to live the life that you want to live, like you're going to blink and another 5-10 years is going to pass. Yeah. And what's crazy for me is like growing up, when parents said that and older people said that, I was like, dude, shut up. Like a whole year feels so long. Like summers are eternity. Like we've got all the time in the world. And then I think you turn like, for me, it was like 16. When I was 16, I turned 16 and started driving. And at 17, I was like, holy cow, that went by so fast. And then now I'm 27, and it's 10 years went by. And I'm like, holy cow. Like it goes, so now I'm like that corny old man who's like, appreciate it while you have it. Like it goes by too quick. Like I am that person. And so I can't control, this is kind of like the last piece of that I would say is like, I cannot control how fast time goes, but I can control what I do with it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to control what I do with it, which is ultimately like for me. And I know a lot of the people that I hang around with, they like think the exact same things. And that's what a lot of the conversations we had over the weekend is like, dude, we have to prioritize the things that truly matter. Which for me, and I know Deej too, is like our best friends. Like how can we have that time with our friends? How can we make those meaningful memories? And how can we continue to choose the circle around us? Because that ultimately, like we were talking about, when we're at the end of all this, we'll be 93-year-olds, and it's scary because that we're going to blink and we're going to be there. It's freaking scary to think about. Like that's like I'm like a third of the way there.
Well, dude, honestly, something that and Deej, you'd probably agree with me on this, but something that I love about spending time with you too is that you don't just feel that for yourself, but you genuinely feel it for the people around you. And so just as encouragement for you, bro, it's like you literally call us out in a way that's like, dude, you need to like embrace life right now. Mm-hmm. And like, what do you like? If I was sleeping through life, you'd probably say something to me about it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really cool how you feel that conviction for your own life, but you also really want it for everyone around you, and you pull it out of everyone around you. So it's cool, bro. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for being on today, dude.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, dude. Yes. Like I said, we're just a bunch of silly guys, dude. Deej, when you coming on, bro? We want to hear your story.
Whenever
dude.
you want, man.
All right, bro.
The Haitian sensation.
Right. Oh, no.
Haitian sensation.
Oh, dude. Well, that'd be fun.
Shoot.
So,
cool.
Brad, thanks, bro.
Yes, sir.
Love you, dude.
I love you, brother.
Hopefully, we'll have you on again. Can tell more stories.
Yes.
Maybe one of these days. So next week we're going to New York.
Yes.
So I'll get to recap that on No Rewind in a couple weeks, I'm sure.
It's gonna be fun, bro.
It's gonna be sweet, bro. Well, sick. Love you, dude.
Love you, brother.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll see you guys next week.